What up, everyone, and welcome to The Social Room, where strategic networking meets insightful business conversations. I'm your host, Aiden Snell, and this show is designed to connect you with business leaders, visionaries, and entrepreneurs who are not only crushing it and making waves within their industries, but who might also just share the game that can take you to the next level. In each episode, we'll explore the stories of these business owners and how they're impacting lives. Who knows? You might just find your next big opportunity right here on this episode. So sit back, tune in, and let's get social. All right, guys, today we are joined by the one and only Robin Dimond, CEO and founder of Fifth & Core. Robin, how are you today?
I am great right now.
Let's go. So happy you could join us on the show. Robin, why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourself real quick? Where are you from? What are you passionate about?
Okay, cool. So I'm Robin Dimond. I am from Florida. I actually live in South Florida. Lived in New York for a while, but then moved back home to be in Florida. Things you should know, I am very into innovation, so augmented reality, artificial intelligence, all of that into your marketing strategy.
Wow, let's go. I love it. Well, Robin, we're so happy to have you on the show today. To start it off, I like to start by getting right into what I call the Power 5, all right? I'm going to ask you 5 power questions, and you're going to give me your best answers. No pressure. You ready?
Okay, no problem.
Okay. Number 1, Robin, what's been the most valuable lesson that you've learned from failure?
Get up and do it again. I think that's the most valuable lesson, because every time I've failed, I've gotten up and done it again, and it's been something way better in my life.
Let's go. I love it. If you had to start over, what's the first thing you would do differently, Robin?
I would find better and stronger advisors when I started. I thought I knew everything until I got advisors in my corner, and I will say that it's been game-changing for my business.
I love that. And how do you feel like you were able to get in a position to get those advisors?
Honestly, it was networking. It was looking at 5 people in my life that I wanted to be like, whether it was family like them, finances like them, spiritual, health-wise. I got those people, and I saw what they were doing in their life and saw everything was making sense, and so I put those people in my life.
Let's go. I love that. It sounds so simple, yet I feel like it goes above, like right over people's head.
It took 41 years to do it, so probably I wish I could have told myself that a lot younger.
What's been the best investment that you've made in your business?
People. Hands down, people. People are where I put my money in all the time. Whether it's investing in them and hiring them, whether it's training them to grow them, or whether it's helping them find something to invest in themselves. By even buying them a blazer. Like, investing in people is where I'll go all the time.
And why do you feel like that? Why do you feel like people has been the best investment specifically?
Because they make your business. Without them, it doesn't matter what technology you have. It doesn't matter what systems you have. People are what we do.
I love it. If you could master one skill, what would it be and why, Robin?
Oh, I feel like this is kind of because of a book I'm reading right now, but the skill I would learn is to let things go. Just let it go. Because I think there's at times that it's like you'll harp on something so much that it affects your life and you can't move on to bigger and better things. Wow,
that's good. That's good. I feel like if I was to ever cross you in business, Robin, like I'd run far away. Like I'd be scared.
You wouldn't.
I'd never.
You would join me. I think we'd be a power duel. I don't think you would. I think the one thing that you do is also your community, your network really is what changes your whole life.
Absolutely, absolutely. And no, I'm just messing around. I'm just saying because you said you'd let things go. I'm like, okay, Robin's enemies are not in a good position.
I don't remember them.
I love it. What's been your proudest moment in business so far, Robin?
I know my proudest moment, and I think it's going to stay my proudest moment, is honestly when we became a debt-free company. And that was 6 months from us opening up. We were able to flip the whole tables and become a debt-free company. And that's really my proudest moment.
Wow, congratulations. How much debt, if you don't mind sharing?
Over $500,000 we were able to pay off. And so that's something that I'm going to hang my hat on that for a while.
Yeah, that's amazing. Wow. Congratulations, Robin.
Thank you.
That's so awesome. So happy for you. Well, amazing job. You crushed that. You got through it so fast and just short, sweet answers. I love it. Thanks so much, Robin. I'm sure the audience found a lot of value in those answers. I'd love to go deep
I'd love to go deeper in Fifth and Core, right? Tell me about your company. How did this become a thing? How did this journey start?
I love this question because everyone is like, oh, why did you have the passion to start this? I did not.
Mm,
So we are a spin-off of a technology company. I was the VP of marketing for a technology company. And it was a way for us to break away with permission from my CEO, like obviously great relationship, and take my entire team over and make something different. So fifth represents the five senses. So
nice,
that's where we got our name. And core is Latin for heart or the root word of courage.
nice.
And so fifth and core was I needed courage and to do a business, and I also needed like all five senses because marketing has become very analytical, and it's really not about that. It's about touching people in one of their senses to make a memorable moment for them.
Mm,
So
wow.
that is where our name comes from and how we started. It has been what I can only say a hamster wheel of a run since then. People see our growth in 3 years and they're like, how did that happen? Well, just like remember, there's a little bit of a legacy before we just jumped in and started.
Yeah, yeah. You had a firm foundation. You got a lot of knowledge, a lot of skills, and you were able to bring a whole team over, right? Rather than like starting from scratch.
Yeah,
That's
which is
amazing.
totally different. And a lot of them have moved on, I would say, but it's great to have that foundation. It was good and bad. So I've learned a lot from that. You said, what did we learn from failure? And it would probably been not re-interviewing people and bringing them all over, but was
Mm,
able to find what made us different. So we aren't an agency model. We work completely as a business model, and we look for disruptions in the industry. And that's where people had to switch their mindset. And I think that was really hard for people.
wow. Okay. I love it. And how do you feel like you said you guys have been operating for 3 years now, yeah?
3 years, yep.
Why is it? I know you mentioned you feel like a lot of people have a hard time switching that mindset, right? Especially because you're looking for disruptive ways in the industry. I'm curious to know, why do you feel that is?
You know, there's two reasons. One, it's always been done this way. That's what I hear. We've always done it this way. And I'm like, so is that working?
Mm,
People are like, no. And I'm like, cool. So let's try something else. Plus the market. I mean, let's take it out of marketing or business right now and let's look at the market right now. What's happening in the world? The market is changing. If you don't change consumer behavior, if you don't change the way you're operating, you're listening to your customers, or even technology, and you're not rapidly changing, then you're going to be stuck and left behind. And so for business owners and for employees, they are like, well, I learned this in school. And I'm like, take your book, throw it in the trash, because all those things are, I didn't, there was, social media didn't even exist when I went to college. So if I was
yeah.
stuck in that mindset of not being disruptive, I think we would have no growth.
Yeah, wow, that's such a great point. I love it. You have to be able to evolve, right? Especially with how fast technology and how fast the market does change. I think that's crucial, and I love that attribute that you have and that mindset that you have. That's
You get
amazing.
squishy. I'll say, like, you have your clients' demands, you have employees' demands, you have technology changes, and then you have market and consumer changes. So if every single way, every week we have a strategy call and we look at like what are those changes and then how do we adapt to them. So we might start off with a certain scope, and our legal team absolutely hates me for this, but we'll change it because it might not be working for that client. So we have to say, okay, hey, what are we going to do to adapt? And that's why we've kept clients for years.
Wow, yeah. And it's funny you mentioned that they hate you because of it, but hey, you gotta do what it takes, right? It's not easy. Otherwise, it's not for everyone. I'm sure your company is not a company for everybody. It's like, hey, keep up with the pace or move on, right? Winners gotta win.
You know, a lot of agencies have models that are like, this is our package one, package two, package three. And I'm like, yeah, that package doesn't work for everybody. A
Mm,
workout routine doesn't work for everybody. You lifting the same amount of weight as me, we're going to have totally different results. And
yeah.
so we have to do something that's custom for that person for them to grow.
I love that. That's so awesome. Speaking about growth and your the way that you're able to personalize your packages with these, custom solutions, tell me more specifically about the people that you help, Robin.
Okay, so people that we help are honestly anyone from a startup to an enterprise who is looking for being disruptive, looking to stand out in their strategies, looking to take marketing to the next level. Anybody who is willing to grow and have growth.
Wow.
Um, I would say industry that we specialize, hospitality. We're known for that. I used to own restaurants, so that kind of carries over. We're known in the medical space. And that is because of our innovation, so augmented reality, artificial intelligence, from working with cadavers all the way up into marketing strategies. That's really where we're known for, and then e-commerce. So I would say those industries or specialized services is what we work for with.
Wow, that's great. It was the hospitality service, augmented services,
No, hospitality, medical.
medical, okay, and e-com.
Yep.
Got you. Okay, amazing. Wow. That's funny you bring that up. My parents, they were big in the hospitality space, and unfortunately, my mom actually she's in DR and she owns a restaurant and a hotel out there. So that's so cool. We might have to have a conversation about how we can work together, Robin.
Absolutely. I'd love that. And
That's awesome.
it is not for the faint of heart. So the fact that she can do that, God bless her.
Yeah, it's rough. And she before we had a party venue, and because of the scary virus that happened not too long ago, we had to shut down, unfortunately. So many businesses just impacted and just wiped out because of that. So I'm sure, you starting in like 2022, 2023, I'm curious to know, did you have like a lot of companies that were like, Robin, we need some like help, like because of, this virus that totally shifted the world and the economy. Did you see that a lot of people were like in need of your services back then?
It's crazy because when you say that, and I'm thinking it's coming up, it's 5 years now.
Yeah.
Since it happened, a lot of businesses barely made it through the first year. They had reserves, so they were okay. The second year, it hit them hard. And then being able to adapt now to a new way of consumer behavior, because everyone moved online. And so these businesses who hadn't moved online, hadn't adjusted, was really holding them back. So we saw the biggest boom, honestly, when people, during that time, when we first started. That's actually when a lot of businesses came to us. Wow. My favorite story, and I don't know if you're going to ask this, but like one of my favorite stories of what we help a client with is they were only 4 years old as a restaurant, or 4 months old, sorry, when the pandemic hit. And they were like, restaurants don't make it in their first year. And so being able to come alongside them, help them think outside the box, even coming up with like cooking live for people. So they were like, you could turn on your Instagram live and watch us cook the recipe and like make people pick up packages. We thought outside the box for that. And to know that they're still around after 5 years and most restaurants don't even make it. Yeah. And they were only 4 months old when we had them. Like those are those stories that like you keep going and encourage you.
Wow, and I'm sure it goes so much more beyond that, right? What could have been like a family who's like actually like wondering, okay, how are we going to pay bills, is now successful, they're thriving, right? And those transformations, both internally, externally, I'm sure are huge.
There's so many stories like that. Like if I can sit there and I like put them on as case studies and I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot we did that.
That's awesome. I'm sure you get so much fulfillment out of that.
I think people ask like what pushes you, what makes you wake up in the morning. It's knowing that you're creating legacies for businesses. Whether it's someone like your mom who's going to either sell it and then she has that money to impact your life in the future, whether she's going to pass it on to you and knowing that it's a family legacy, whether it's taking it and giving it to an employee who might buy it back. And think about that legacy. Like your legacy lives on past you. And so to meet with these business owners right now and knowing like 70% of businesses are owned by boomers right now is amazing because the turnover is about to be about a legacy, and that's what I love doing.
Wow, that's incredible. I love that, Robin. So I'm curious to know, what do you feel like is the biggest pain point, the biggest struggle that your audience faces? Is it standing out? Is it like, okay, how do we attract our clients, especially with, like you mentioned, the market changes, right? Consumer behavior changes. What do you feel like is ultimately like maybe a couple of the main problems that you feel like people are struggling with and that you can essentially help them out with?
What's been happening are many of our clients are coming to us, they're overwhelmed with these changes. So marketing, technology, or consumer behavior. Really differentiating themselves in a crowded market, attracting and retaining new customers, and then aligning with their mission and their message because they've somewhere lost themselves trying to be squishy in all these areas. So really helping them get back to what their mission and what their brand is are the problems that we see.
Got you. Okay, cool. And I'm curious to know what happens if they ignore these pain points, these problems, right? If they don't adapt, if they can't keep up with these changes that are happening in the market, technology, consumer behavior.
I think this is super harsh what I'm about to say.
You got to say it.
It happens to all of us. We're seeing them disappear. They are either in financial ruin, they are not able to pay off debt, they're letting people go. I mean, we're seeing it all over. If you look at LinkedIn any day of the week, people are changing jobs because business owners or corporations have not been able to adapt. And so they're losing talent because they're losing market industry. They're like, we've always done it this way. You'll never hear Nike say we've always done it this way.
Yeah.
They keep changing, and so it's constantly reinventing yourself. It's constantly finding out what your morals and your beliefs are and going back to that brand identity. And then when you want to change that brand identity, making it known, not secretly doing it, make it known. And so I think that's what we're seeing is those businesses are really fading out.
Wow. What would you say to that business who's like, I've always done it this way. Okay, I know I'm stubborn, but at the same time, I know I need to make a change. What would you say to those businesses?
Why? If you've always done it this way, you're always going to get what you've got. Are those results good? And if they are, why are we talking? If you're wanting to make something different, it's going to be scary. My life is scary every day. Every freaking day. There's sometimes I go to the gym and I'm like, probably shouldn't be doing this. But I want to see those changes. Working with a financial advisor, freaking scary. Investing in the market right now, scary. But like, you have to do something different if you want to see different results. And so I would challenge that business owner to say, hey, give it a try. Let's try it together. Let's talk about it. It's like dating. Let's reevaluate 3 months down the road. We don't need to be locked and married up in a year, but let's work together to see if we can actually make a difference.
Yeah, so good. I'm curious to know, Robin, some of the strategies if you're comfortable with sharing without giving away too much sauce. I know you got probably some really great strategies, really great systems within the business, but more or less, like what are the aspects in which you're really able to transform a business? What are some of those ways that you're thinking outside of the box to elevate that business?
First of all, there's no secret sauce.
I love it.
So I will tell anybody, I tell everybody, coffee or cocktails with me. I'll tell you all my things. I don't care what time of day either one is.
Robin doesn't gatekeep.
I don't gatekeep, and there's no reason to. You can go, you can Google it, you're going to chat GPT it. It's really having a system in place to do it, which is hard.
Yeah.
One, we really focus on your branding. So when we come in as a consultant, if we're going to do it, what's your brand identity? Do you know your business? That's the first one. So branding and personal branding. So business branding, personal branding. If you're C-suite or you are the entrepreneur and the owner and you do not have your own brand, you have failed. Robin Dimond is just as much as Fifth and Core. The next one is your marketing strategy. Where are you hitting them on social, on website, and ask someone to give a true thing. So I should be able to hand my computer over to a 12-year-old and they'd be able to find all this stuff about you. And a 72-year-old. So if a 72-year-old cannot navigate your website and they end up picking up the phone and calling, then you have done a bad job with your website.
Wow.
So I'll ask my niece and nephew, and I'll also ask my parents. And I'll be like, okay, go into this website. Don't tell them anything. If they can find what we need, then we know your website's working well.
Wow.
So really focusing on your branding and branding identity, your website, then it's your marketing. What message are you going with and how often are you putting it out there? And then the last one is PR. And I fought this tooth and nail personally, and please learn from me. PR is the biggest thing that will help you. So if people don't know about your business, if it's not in the public, you're going to have a problem. People don't need PR every single month, but at least twice a year. You have a business anniversary you should be talking about, and you've probably given back to a charity. That's the two things that we need to bring out because it gets you all this backlinks. It helps rank and it helps rank your website, and then it also pushes you to the top. So those are the 4 areas I would tell people to really pay attention to.
Wow, so much value, so much value. I love it. Even from just, me owning a media company, I think there were some really good gems in there that I can take away from my own company, right? I help people with their marketing as well, but even just especially the PR too. It's like, do I really need PR? And then you dropped it like, hey, you need to have at least 2 pieces of PR a year. And, you went as far as explaining exactly what to drop it on, right? That anniversary and hey, give away to charity, because that's a really great way to bring some awareness in. I love that. Wow. Thank you so much for that value.
Yeah. And you
Awesome.
don't have to give, a lot of companies are like, well, we're struggling. We don't have money to give away. You can give time away to a charity. You can invest back. I mean, you have a great media company. Bring on bring on the CEO of Make-A-Wish. Bring it on, like you can do a give back and talk about that, and you guys can do a press release together and talk
Wow.
about they're gaining something, you're doing it. There's a lot of different ways to think outside the box.
Wow, I love that. I love that. That I feel like does Fifth and Core have like a motto or like a slogan?
Yes, but I don't know if I'm allowed to say it on this.
Why is that? It's a secret?
It's get shit done.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, no
Yeah,
way.
like print it on my wall, get shit done. If
I
you're
love
gonna,
that.
I want someone to, whether you're gonna do it. If you're gonna do it, you're probably gonna do it wrong. That's okay.
I
I'd
love
rather
it.
you do it and fail and us
Yeah.
learn together. So just do it.
That's such a bar. I think so many people they hold back. They don't get to that next level. They don't even try because they're so caught up in it being perfect. When in reality, like imperfect action is what's gonna get you way closer to whatever it may be that you're after, right? Just taking that action, taking the step, and not caring that it's gonna be perfect. Understanding that you're gonna suck, right? It's new, right? Like we're not just gonna start something. Nobody starts something is just like extremely good at it, right? Even those who are maybe even more gifted in that area than others, we start off at a low point, and it's really just those repetitive actions that get us to those milestones that we're striving for. That's awesome. So get shit done and think outside the box. I love think outside the box. I think that's so great. 100%. Especially in today's world where there's so many entrepreneurs. It's like everyone's saying, "Oh, this is saturated and that's saturated." Like the world's saturated. Like there's billions of people on the planet. Of course, like everything is saturated when you think about it. But hey, like how can you think outside the box, and how can you consistently show up on a day-to-day basis to make it work for you, for your family, for your dreams, for your goals?
I have one advisor that he runs several companies, and he literally is like, just do it. Just go out there and do it. It's not going to be perfect. Because I was like, make it perfect. Know what I'm going to say. Don't do a podcast unless you know. I can't, and I know you feel this, but people be like, well, what are you going to ask me? I don't know. Let's go. It's just like talking. I don't know
Yeah.
if we go out. I don't know what we're going to talk about. I don't. That
Conversation.
doesn't cripple me. I think the last one is your community. So your network is your net worth.
Mm.
And that is one that's not obviously my saying, but your network is your net worth. And what I didn't realize, and if I could tell younger me to do that, is get on LinkedIn. I was never on LinkedIn. I used to make fun of my old CEO. He was like, get on LinkedIn, get on LinkedIn, get on LinkedIn, and I would never do it. That has brought the most revenue to my company, over $1 million.
Wow.
Because of LinkedIn and people seeing what I'm saying on LinkedIn and being like, hey, I forgot you did this. Can you? It's almost every single week I get a new lead from my LinkedIn. And I'm not reaching out, I'm not cold DMing them, I'm just posting what we're doing. And so I really wish that I would have put more time into my network.
Wow.
I have 32,000 connections, by the way. LinkedIn cuts you off at 33,000. Found
Oh
that out the
no.
hard way. So
Oh
like,
no.
you do want to connect with everybody. You want to find people in the industry and you want to collaborate with them.
Wow. So guys, you only got 1,000 people left for Robin to become exclusive. Make sure you connect with her on LinkedIn. That's
Absolutely do that.
awesome. That's awesome. You mentioned LinkedIn being like such a way that you're getting at least a lead a week. That's amazing. I know a lot of people are looking for, hey, how can I get more business, right? Especially ones that are even maybe watching this right now. So I'm curious to know, what is it that you are posting on LinkedIn that you feel like is bringing in those leads? Because I know you said you're just sharing what it is you're doing, right? It's as simple as that? Just like, documenting videos? Is it text posts? I'd love to hear a little bit more on that.
So it's a combination. I'm unapologetically authentic. So if you follow me on LinkedIn and you're like, what the heck is she posting about her food? It is. So it's a day in the life. And so honestly, it's about our wins. It's about us hiring and growing as a team. Right now we're hiring, in case anyone needs to know. So it's about us growing as a team and hiring. It is about a case study that we just put out. It's about a client's wins. Now, we're very protective of our clients. They hire us for a reason, to be discreet. So we say like, hey, this is the industry. But it's really just sharing it. It's highlighting somebody on our team who did something. Whether it's their anniversary or it's their birthday or if it's them celebrating. It needs to be unapologetically authentic. And that's what we look for.
Wow, that's great. I feel like I'm sensing like it's a lot of community and culture in there, like that you're highlighting, like really showing off the team culture, and like, it's not just the company, it's actually people in the company.
There's 6 fluent languages spoken on my team. Everyone on our team lives in the state of Florida.
Wow.
So that people are like, wait, so how do you have all this? Like, there is a culture. In culture, when I lived in New York, culture was everything. And culture is going out, having dinner, having different things about it, like different religions, different political views, and pulling it all together to make you a better person. And so I love the strengths of my team. Like I said, I didn't do PR. I know jack poo-poo about PR. It is my team who is driving the results. And so highlighting that Lexi landed 400 outlets for a doctor in this area is amazing. That's where we really call out our team.
Wow. I love it. So much to learn from that one little segment there. I love it. Cool, Robin. You mentioned you're hiring. What are you hiring for?
We have 3 positions open right now for a content creator because we actually travel a lot and do content shoots.
Okay.
We have a social media role and another public relations role. So these are, we just hired too. We're growing.
I love that.
It's fantastic to see. I think right now everyone is a little bit iffy about their business and with the market, and they understand that there is some disruption. There's a lot of money to be made here. And so being able to help businesses, also businesses who are coming from other areas. We have clients that are from Israel. We have clients from all over the world, from Japan, from Korea. We're seeing all of them enter here. And so being in their international hub is something that we really focus on.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So I guess to wrap up here, Robin, what is the vision in the next 6 to 12 months? Where do you see yourself taking the company? Where do you see yourself taking yourself? What's that goal in the next year?
Do I drop this here? That's like the question I've been debating in my mind. So Fifth and Core is going to keep growing. We're super excited. My goal is to double the team in the next year.
How many people do you have?
We have 19 right now. So my
Nice.
goal is to double the team in the next year. And that's strategic because we are launching something else, which is the Core Collective. And so the Core Collective is a networking community, and it's creators and it's C-suites getting together and
Wow.
being able to share revenue and drive goals that way. So that's the reason why there's going to be a huge expansion.
Sign me up. I'm in. I need to get on that what do they call it? The wait list?
It is actually, I will. It is members only. Each pod and each group is made out of 23 people, which your DNA has 23 things. So it's the 23 industries that each entrepreneur will need in their life. So from financial, law, marketing,
Wow.
insurance. So we really want to help each entrepreneur who's out there or each business owner or C-suite who has questions and give them information and basically a resource that they can go back to.
Wow, that's amazing, Robin.
Thank
How
you.
can people find you? Where can they work with you?
They can find me on LinkedIn. It's Robin Dimond, but no A in Diamond. Or you can go to our website, which is Fifth, Fifth, and COR. So Core is spelled COR, which is short for the heart. So Fifth and Core.
I love it. Wow, Robin. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode. It was a pleasure having you. And Robin, I wish you a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much. It was an honor. I appreciate you. Have a great day.
And that is a wrap on this episode of The Social Room. I hope you found some great insights and maybe even some potential opportunities and ideas. Remember, the connections you make today could be the game changers of tomorrow. If you're interested in continuing the conversation or exploring potential partnerships, don't hesitate to reach out. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this with a friend who needs to hear it. Stay tuned until next time.